Hello everyone out there on YouTube and on Twitch. This is, I don't know, part 3 of DeCj Veh Conjurer, 15 runes. Just gonna do a nice stream today. What's up, Two-Headed? Rhythm Kitty, how's it going? Figured might as well get some progress going on this guy. Trying to think, what are we doing right now? We are training for Firestorm, it looks like. So Firestorm is not quite safely castable yet. OBS looking good. Let me switch over to no, it's not really necessary actually. For you're talking about Gehenna. Firestorm works just fine. The only thing in Gehenna that you care about too much are Hellions, which they'll die to a single Firestorm easy. They just don't have a lot of HP. And something like Brimstone Fiends, and they die pretty easily to Firestorm. And then there's the fight with Amadeus, and he can be a little bit tricky, but I wouldn't even say he's the hardest one if you're gonna kill. The ones that tend to get, I mean, Aresh can be kind of complicated because of the silence and her speed, depending on whether or not you're, I mean, if you're using Firestorm, you're probably going to be in Necromutation, but I mean, either way, you have complications because she also has Shadow Fiends with her, so you got to get rid of those quickly, or you might have a Hell effect that triggers in the middle of it, so you could really get dispelled if you're not careful, and then if you're not, she's got Torment and Silence, so she's not hard, but she's sort of, there can be complications, and then Antius has just a ton of HP and all those Ice Fiends tormenting. Firestorm, he's really not too bad though, and he is vulnerable to it, so it's probably more Aresh and the fight with Dis. Dis mostly being about like all the Hell Sentinels potentially nearby. Oh, Distant Wind. That's might be interesting. We might be able to do Desolation pretty easily with Firestorm. Got plenty of food, so food's not really a concern. Just don't got a lot of HP, so if we do it, we've got to be careful. Let's take a look at where that portal is. Yeah, that looks like that's probably the portal. I don't know if the map shows it in web tiles because the map and console and web tiles don't necessarily line up. Guess I can go check it out. Oh, look who it is. That's an interesting complication. So are we looking for haste? And resist. Resist would be good here, rather than having to wield the Staff of Air. Do I want haste? Do I want to waste a haste? I'd like to get rid of Sojibo, and this is a pretty good point from which to do it. I can just quaff res. I do have to be careful. I really don't have a lot of heal left on this character. Haste would be a pretty good call. Just don't want to waste them, but at the same time I don't really want to risk it, and I might get some even if Sojo goes down pretty fast, I might get some residual benefit out of it, so maybe I'll go ahead and quaff it. Here she goes. So let's just try Firestorm. Ah, then the complication comes. so now I'm glad we did that. Now we just got to be careful. We don't want to get into trouble here. Sojo's almost dead. So probably going to go down pretty fast. Whoa. Okay. Huh, there went Sojo. There went Boris. Okay. So there's something else. That's probably Tengu Reaver. Interesting. Why is oh, it must be the vortices. That's funny. Is that everything? Hey, we got back our resist potion. So it looks like that took care of all of those guys. Both the Reavers and Sojibo and Boris. What's this now? Dark Slug Corpse. Okay. It's an interesting thing. So you have to be careful with this. There's what about song? Not songs. Okay. So they'll go down to a fireball well enough. Just got to be really careful not to get in over your head here, but they do have some really nice artifacts in there, as well as some potential good artifact like armor and stuff. So we'll risk it. We just need to treat it cautiously. DeCj. Gonna need the mapping. Go in eating a ration, just so that if I get some initial struggle, how much if I get some initial, like, resistance, I'll have it taken care of. Be back 1 sec. Alright. So I guess we're going to go into this. Do I have any more see myself needing RC ring. What is our conch staff? Yeah, probably not too comfortable casting Firestorm without this, although I could swap. I'll still swap, so maybe I should just hold on to that. Kind of surprised this Is this +3 EV ring really the best ring that I could possibly wear right now? Probably should have more dodging on this character. My EV is just not all that high, to be honest. 25 is a little bit low. I don't really have skills put into much else, but I do have a ton of spellcasting. Mostly which I got so that I could learn Firestorm and all these other spells, because I didn't have a lot of amnesia this game, so I sort of blame the spellcasting. Like, I could have had 18 dodging by now. Guess you know what, I'm actually gonna go ahead and train up dodging. 18 dodging sounds pretty good. We really should have had better EV. Alright. So we'll look to do Fireball. And we're just gonna take this really slow. Something about Peacekeepers. They throw barbs. Oh, that got a few things. Gonna prioritize this stuff. Just use some shots to take care of our friends here. So I'm just taking this really slow and sort of cautiously. I'm just gonna kind of biding my time here. Now these things, I want to die. I really don't want to get encircled, so I will actually use a Firestorm on him. Nice. What do you have, my friend? Lightning bolt. Oh. Guardian Serpent. Play it cautious here, because I'm getting that serpent encircled me, and it was very clever of him. It's kind of showing how this can go awry kind of quickly. Boy, they're really coming from that south area. Oh, I didn't know that he could be... I didn't know he could be mited like that. This is a problem, so I'm out of like MP restore stuff now. It just puts, puts me in... Because I don't have channel, so this is turning into just a big resource waste. There's not a lot I can really do about it. There's still plenty of monsters left on this map, I would say. And these saltlings just sort of keep coming. It's sort of unfortunate, but there's not a lot I can do about it. Yeah, I'm actually just gonna bail, because the problem I did there is that I didn't really have any channel, I think. And once you get damage, you need enough time to regen your HP, and It's fine if you can use Sublim and regen, but I was fighting the entire map, so it just wasn't tenable, unfortunately. So that was a pretty big waste of consumables, really. I don't mind so much like a haste pot, but 2 blink scrolls. I mean, I could have used a heal, but I'm also low on that. Blink scrolls aren't going to be useful for too much longer, but I still have the rest of vaults and the rest of depths, and now I only got one of those left. So that was sort of unfortunate. I think the next time if I try to do this on a character like this, I'm going to just need to make sure that I have some channeling that I can use more reliably, but it's kind of tough. It's a tough map to do if the entirety of the map basically just rushes you. If I had Sif, this would have been easier, I would say. But even with Sif, it's still sort of a problem because you're not getting the MP from the kills, so you have to channel a lot more, and channel can only keep up so much with your Firestorm usage. So it's sort of the case that you just need you kind of need a reprieve somehow, and that fighting from the center of the map is not going to give you that. You kind of have to go off somewhere, but you can't. On that map, it's difficult to do it, and it's not a character that can really just wander in and, and tab some stuff. I mean, probably a solid at least 50%, if not maybe even closer to 2/3 of the monsters were dead, but it was just getting more and more to the point where it was like, there's some risk for me surviving. Probably could have done it, but it was just getting riskier and riskier, and we already had used a few consumables. So yeah, so I'm not really sure what I would do for this. That map is a little bit easier to clear if you are the kind of character that can just go off into a corner, fight a few of the things, and then rest up. But with using Firestorm, the entire map converges on you really quickly. So even if I had channel, like if I had CBOE, you can get an MP drain, and you need some turns to channel with Staff of Energy to try again, and you may not have enough. Like, you get all those Guardian Serpents converging, you may not have a lot of turns, or just in general, those things really converge onto your position really fast, and they're coming from all directions, so it's a little tough. Maybe if you could, yeah. Probably what might help would be, instead of fighting at the center, if you could clear out one of the chambers with relative ease and then kind of go from there. That might help a little bit more, because you're more likely to be able to have time to rest, but I'm not even sure there's a guarantee. It's a little bit of a tough map without any cover. Well, it's a little bit unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. Now, what is this guy? Yeah, I mean, I've done that map like twice, and I definitely did not use stealth. You certainly can use stealth. I wouldn't say anything against that, but yeah, use of allies and just characters that are not quite so, I guess, noisy. So melee's not a bad option there if most of those monsters are pretty chumpy to you melee-wise. And of course, you probably want to make sure you do have our elect. There's a few things with lightning bolt, and there's a thing with agony, so some MR is good. You kind of need all around resist. That's why it's a little bit tough for a map. You need the right character that can even clear it. And this one could. It's just not from the center like I was doing it. It would need a little bit more finesse, I think. Probably less loud spells might have actually made that easier, because there's a lot of. It's great when you group and you get efficient kills and you get a bunch of MP restored, but when you don't, it's kind of a problem. So we missed out on whatever artifacts were there, but we'll have to live with it. Oh, speaking of the devil. Those open doors, don't they? This is kind of the issue with this character in general. I really do wish I had deflect to remind myself about these things. That is an interesting one. Oh, gotta remember, I'm not in Discord. I think that is shown. Yeah. Oh no, yeah, okay. So that's weird. I guess it doesn't show it. Alright, well, that's that then. Really do wish I had Swift. That would have made my life. Actually, Passage of Calabria would also be good. The problem is I've got all these high-level spells that I need to get rid of them, but I do have an Amnesia Scroll. This would basically be a perfect time for Passage. I really probably need to get that now, especially since I'm relatively low on Blink Skulls. I've only got one left. Don't really want to use it here. So the follow, Muffin Drake. Alright, so let's see. Don't much like a random teleporter. This is not the best level to be random teleporting on. I just don't really want to risk taking a bolt to the face with this. I do have the resistances, so that'll cut it down some. But I don't actually have a very good, like, escape type spell right now. Actually, I need Iron Shot is what I need. What? Oh. What was that? Huh? So weird. It's another unseen horror, I think. Of all things. Oh no! Okay. That's what that is. It's a... Is there no seeing Viz? It's such an inconvenience. Oh, that's... Yeah, that's really annoying. See, invisible monsters are starting to become a real nuisance for this kind of character, because I can't, you know, I can't just like tab over to them or whatever. And if you get something like that, they can be a real pain. I thought it was probably an unseen, but it wasn't. Man. Nice. Okay. This might work, but it might not. No see invis. Yeah, they would see invis too. Man, what a pain. So there's no see invis in the game, I